This is a disaster, King Oberon murmured, shaking his head. Without the magic objects, crafting everywhere would be totally ruined. The magical craft fairies looked at each other miserably, their wings drooping. We can help, Christy, Christy piped from the front of the crowd. Right, Rachel? Of course we can, Rachel agreed. Jack Frost isn't going to get away with this. Oh, Rose, you're always here when we need you, Queen Titania said gratefully. And the magical craft fairies will help you however they can. Kayla wiped a splash of green paint off her nose and beckoned to Rachel and Kirsty. Let's get back to Rainspell Island right away, girls, she said urgently. As Kayla waved her wand, Rachel and Kirsty felt her powerful magic whisk them up and away from fairyland. They could hear the other fairies calling good luck just a heartbeat later. The girls found themselves outside the information booth in the Rainspell Island town square. Taylor immediately darted out of sight into Rachel's portrait. Where would we start looking for your vase? Kirsty asked her. Jack Frost probably gave the magic objects to his goblins to keep safe, Taylor guessed. The goblins who have my vase will definitely want to do some pottery. Ali said we could try pottery in the hall down by the pier. Rachel reminded Kirsty. Let's look there first. The girls checked the crowd's weak mat and then headed to the pier. On the way, Rachel was surprised to see a group of angry people stomp by, complaining loudly to one another about what a terrible time they were having. Rachel could see that they were spattered with something that looked like mud, and they weren't the only ones. More people trailed along behind them, all covered with mud and all coming from the pier. I wonder what's going on, Rachel remarked, scratching her head. At that moment, a woman wearing a dirty leather apron came hurrying towards them. Kirsty noticed her name tag, Madeline Potts Pottery Instruction, and called out to her as she went by. Is everything okay? Kirsty asked, concerned. We were just on our way to your pottery class. I'd suggest you wait a little while, girls, Madeline Potts replied, sounding exasperated. Some troublemaking boys have been causing complete chaos, throwing clay at everyone, including me. She looked down at her clay-stained apron. I'm going to get Arlie to help me get them out of the pottery hall. Then she dashed off. Troublemaking boys, Rachel repeated. Sounds more like troublemaking goblins. Let's go, Taylor piped up excitedly from Rachel's portrait. The girls ran the rest of the way to the pottery hall. When they arrived, they could hear shrieks and giggles inside. Wait, Kirsty said as Rachel reached for the door handle. Maybe Kayla could turn us into fairies before we go in. It'll be easier to stay out of sight. You are right, Kayla replied with a wink. She fluttered out of Rachel's portrait, waved her wand, and surrounded the girls with a mist of sparkling magic. In no time at all, Rachel and Kirsty were the same size as Taylor with delicate, translucent wings on their backs. The three friends flew through an open window into the hall. There, to their surprise, they found themselves right in the middle of a storm of wet clay. Blobs of clay were flying through the air, and Rachel gave a yelp as one of them knocked her off her balance and sent her into a nosedive. She flapped her wings hard and managed to zoom up again. Kayla and Kirsty both dodged from side to side, trying to avoid being hit by clay too. Kirsty glanced down and saw two goblins whooping with glee as they pelted each other with blob after blob of clay. Two more goblins had smeared clay all over the floor, and were having fun sliding around as if they were on a skating rink. Madeline Potts was right, Trusty said breathlessly. It's chaos in here. Let's hide somewhere safe, Kayla suggested. Then we can plan our next move. She flew down and ducked behind the vase and stood in the middle of the potter's wheel. Kirsty and Rachel followed. As they did, Kirsty noticed a shelf full of beautiful pots, vases, and jars nearby that they were coated with bright, swirling laces. Did the goblin make those? Kirsty whispered, pointing to the shelf. Probably, Taylor replied. The magic from my special vase means they have become expert potters. She frowned. My vase is here somewhere. I can feel it. Rachel stared at the shelf, wondering if the goblin had hidden Kayla's magic vase there with the others. But then Kayla gave a little squeal with excitement. Oh, those, look, she exclaimed, pointing. Look at the green backpack on the workbench. See the faint magical glow around it? Rachel and Kirsty squinted at the open backpack. Inside was nestled a familiar sparkly object. Taylor's vase. I have to get it back, Kayla said, determined. Wait here, girls. Without another word, she zoomed straight towards the backpack. Suddenly, a goblin in clay-smeared apron came out of a nearby closet labeled storeroom, right near the backpack. He was struggling, carrying a big and heavy block of clay. Kirsty and Rachel glanced at each other in dismay. Hurry, Kayla, Kirsty murmured. Their fairy friends still hadn't realized the goblin was so close. At first the goblin seemed to be heading for the pottery wheel, but then he threw a casual glance at his backpack. He scowled as he spotted Kayla just about to duck inside. The goblin dropped the block of clay on the workbench and lunged at the little fairy. Kayla, look out, Kirsty shouted.